Okay, today it's going to be a combination day. Combination of good old tiles and miniatures. So tiles, or like this board right here I have, is great because it gives you a nice little grid that you can use to put your miniatures on. So now they come in, of course, this is like a board that I have you can use as a base. Of course, you also have like different types of like tiles and stuff. They come in many different varieties, so like you can get like different boards for like taverns, for like specific like locations, for environments. So you can like pretty much get creative with the different types of tiles you can use, and like even like ones for specials, like special rooms, like this one you could probably use for like the if you have your party burst into like a ritual for like a bunch of cultists, the stereotypical one of the stereotypical scenarios. And of course, like you also got stuff that you can use for rooms where you can like go up and down different to different levels as well. So like with tiles, you can get really creative with like how you like create dungeons and everything. So like the easiest way to do like tiles like this would probably just be like maybe like a piece of paper, and then just like with a ruler and like a pencil, just like kind of like put up the ruler and just kind of like map out the squares and everything. So that's like probably like the cheapest, easiest way to do it. So you don't necessarily have to get these, but in my opinion, tiles and miniatures are probably like the best addition you can do to like any game. So you could also get like some unpainted like terrain stuff, and like what's great about this stuff is you can actually spend some time painting, so like you can get the different you can also get them pre-painted as well, but those usually cost a little more. So like it depends on what you want to do. If you actually want to have fun with like stuff like this and paint them and everything, then yeah, that'd be the cheaper option. Or if like you just like, okay, I just want to grab and go, you can get the pre-painted ones. Or like you could just get these and use them as is and everything. You don't necessarily have to paint them. But like what's great is like you can get like with miniatures, what you can do is you can get like a bunch of different ones and everything. So like you got some that come pre-painted and everything. So like there's like several different types and everything. So a bunch of ones like there's like different box sets that you can get, and it's like of course this one is a bit kind of tall and everything, being a giant and everything. So they have like stuff that's pretty much to scale. So like you can see like an orc versus like the giant, how big the difference in size and everything. So like what's great is that they do have, like I said, have stuff into scale. So like you can put them in the actual squares. You can see like how much big of an area they actually take up for each size and everything. So like I said, like most characters are like medium sized, like the orcs, so they take up like one square. So like but bigger ones like this tend to take up more squares, as you can see. So these ones are like the pre-painted ones that you can get in like different boxes and everything. So there's like different box sets, like the Pathfinder one here. You can get like they come in boxes of 4, or like you can get the one that some that just recently came out is like iconic of the realms, icons of the realms, and like the glory of the giants, which like one of the new like reference books that just came out that like I'll eventually be getting to. So like they also got like non-painted ones that you can like just like the terrain stuff you can actually spend time painting as well. So like yeah, yeah, the great thing about miniatures is that like they can give like a visual representation of like the villains that you're fighting, plus like your heroes. So like that's the great thing about like miniatures, is that it actually can be great for a visual representation for them. So like a good thing that you can also do is like get like box sets, or to get like the ones I showed. You can get box sets, get number 4, or you can get like if you need some, the board games are also great to like get like miniatures as well. So board games I probably will be getting to eventually. So like those tend to come in like with like a lot of different types of miniatures as well. So like one of the big games that I'm into like for board games is Hero Quest. So like that one I'll probably eventually be getting to as well. And like you can quite easily get like a bunch of miniatures from that you could use. For instance, like if you're running a group like against some undead or something, what you can do is basically like get a board game like Hero Quest to get like a bunch of miniatures. So you have like a ton of miniatures that you can like you don't necessarily need to like use like tokens or something. Just to get like a cheap version of like of the miniatures. You can actually have like the actual decent miniatures already at hand and everything. So and like the other great thing about like board games is like they do come with like like furniture and stuff. So like you can see like a couple fireplaces. So like for instance, with like I said, with the board game, you get these like small miniatures that are like kind of like pre-colored that you can use to like run like multiple opponents. So you don't necessarily have to just use tokens. And like what's great is that they come with, like I said, like a bunch of furniture and stuff, so you can use as like the furnish fill out your room as well. So like and you get a little like a platform you can use. You get like a tomb, so you can build out your rooms and everything. So like even comes with like I said, different desks that you can build out quite possibly any type of room. And like a great thing about board games is like especially like the Hero Quest one I mentioned, is that you can actually get a pre-made board that you can kind of like do like your stereotypical dungeon crawl. So this is the great thing about like I've mentioned, is that you have these miniatures that you can use to run like encounters of like against a big group of monsters that you can encounter. So like and they also do come with like miniatures for like the actual heroes. And so like all like, as you can see, like the monsters are kind of color coordinated too. So like you can get like a big gargoyle, and of course like you also got like undead ones that you can use for like mummies, skeletons, zombies. And so with being color coordinated, it kind of helps with the visual as well. So like they also have, like I said, like red for like heroes. So like that kind of helps differentiate between like the monsters and the heroes. So like having them be color coordinated kind of helps, like I said, differentiate between like the actual monsters and like the heroes. So when you place them on the map, like you can actually have them square up in each of the squares and face off against each other when they're in combat. And so it's easier to move them around on the tiles and stuff. So that's like what the great thing about board games is, you can get like a lot more miniatures on the cheap and everything. So you don't necessarily have to spend like maybe say like $15 on like a big miniature like this, like King Kong, or like maybe like $20-25 for like a package like one of these ones, like the Pathfinder ones. But like you kind of want to make sure you're getting ones for your campaign Pacific that you're running. So like if you're like, for instance, running an undead campaign, you wouldn't necessarily want to get like something like King Kong here, or like the actual like goblins or orcs and stuff, because like that would make no sense. So like, you'd want to run, like I said, like, get miniatures for a campaign Pacific type of deal. So, and also like with board games, like I said, like you get these like furnitures that you can use to flesh out the rooms. So miniatures and tiles like these, and like of course you also got like these ones that like are part of a set that you can get that you can see that can kind of build on, so you can kind of build it out as you go along, and like for your typical dungeon crawls that you do. So but like I said before, the cheapest way to do tiles and stuff would probably be like get like a bunch of pieces of paper, and you could like sit here with a pencil and a ruler and draw out the squares and everything and build it out as you go and everything. So that's kind of like the low tech way to do it. Plus, like you can also like with miniatures, you could always just use like tokens, sort of like just like tokens or whatever to represent the monsters. I mean, another simple hack would be use the pennies, dimes, quarters, nickels as as representations. But like for me, I much prefer these like good old visuals, because like you can see like the giant here, how like big he is compared to like the other miniatures. So it gives like a much better visual representation with miniatures like this. So like this is just, of course, to end this quick video. These miniatures and tiles are probably like the most expensive part of this hobby and everything. But like but this is like probably my most favorite part of it, because like once you get these miniatures, what's great about it is you have them, and you can reuse them over and over and over again. So like it's not just like a one and done deal like with an adventure book. Once you like the Curse of Strahd that I went through, once you're done that, it's like, okay, I've been through that, so if I go through it again, I pretty much already know what's going to be coming and everything. So like you kind of like don't want to necessarily go through an adventure book twice, and unless of course you do it first as a player, and then maybe you run in a new group through it as a DM or something. So that's the way you could do adventures like kind of like twice. But in the most part, it's the adventure books are kind of one and done, whereas like miniatures like these you can pretty much use over and over and over again. And so like it and of course you also got to take in consideration, do you want to go with the painted ones that are already pre-painted, so you have less work to do, or are you more of the artsy type and want to get the ones that are unpainted and actually like spend time painting them and everything? So I know Warhammer is big on like getting miniatures like that, and like painting is like a miniatures is a big hobby as well. So it all depends on what you want to get into with your miniatures and everything. So now, just like pretty much everything else, like the adventure books, the supplemental guidebooks and everything, they're not necessary to play. Because, like I said, you could use like low tech stuff and just kind of like a paper, pencil, and rulers, and draw in the actual squares, and use like pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters for like tokens as the miniatures. But I'll reiterate that like having these actual miniatures is a much better visual for gaming, and plus like I'm sure people can remember scenes from the Stranger Things where they pull out like the miniatures, like, oh, here's the Gorgon and everything. So it definitely does have like a good reference to pop culture, especially modern pop culture, with the miniatures and everything. So now, like I'll reiterate that like miniatures are my probably favorite part of D&D, because like it's just gives such added bonus to the game, and it can give them so much better visualizations to them. So now, while not necessary, it's definitely like one of, if not the greatest addition you can do to any campaign that you run.